start off by saying that I wanted to give Rhonda some kudos. I wanted to say how much I appreciate her and what a great job she does, I think. And, you know, all I have to do is say, Rhonda, can we do this? And she does it. She researches it if need be, whatever. She's got old stuff that she can update, and she gets it done. And I appreciate that so much with all the appointments and stuff that I'm having still. And it's good stuff. So I just wanted her to know that I appreciate her, and I'm sure that all of you do. That's the first thing I wanted to say. The other thing is she's got a great program, whatever you want to call it, to get us going tonight for this discussion. And I really hope everyone will participate. And I hope that more join us as we go along. I see we have 11 folks on, so I'm looking to see who they are. But I just hope that everybody will participate. And I'm just going to turn it right over to Miss Rhonda.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Pat. I'm really excited about tonight. I know we talked a little bit about this stuff. We kind of talked a little about it last week. We talked a little bit about kind of getting our stuff ready and kind of getting ready for everything, but I've got a great program to kind of remind you. And I've got the perfect slide that I will create a PDF and put it up on our Facebook page, because we did the research, and I was so excited that I found it because I looked everywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen. All right. Can everybody see this?
Yep.
All right, great. Let's see if I can make it a little bigger. There we go. Much better. All right, guys, I want to make sure I can see y'all, so let me get everything on my stuff set up. There we go. So it is time for summer, and I'm sure people are thinking, you know, depending on where you live or where you're from, you may not think April 22nd is summer. But let me just tell you, school is out in like 3 weeks, maybe 4. And as soon as that happens, it's summer, even if summer technically isn't for 2 months. Can you imagine if we started summer on June 26th or 2nd or whatever day it is? We would be halfway through our summer here. So I wanted to get everybody in the mood of thinking, what are you going to do this summer? Because it starts today, really getting ready. Spring break is over for most of our students, and we know we have testing season coming up, and then kids are out of school. So let's start thinking about how you're going to grow your team. How can you grow? I mean, you're on this call because you're in leadership, and I'm assuming you're here because you want to keep growing. So I wanted to start out first by saying, let's look at your current team and think, who are your next team members, and what representatives do you have that are going to be your next leaders? So I love this slide. This kind of talks about, really simply, who do you already have on your team that could be great in leadership? I mean, you may be brand new on this call and not even in leadership yet and thinking, I might be able to do it. Maybe that could be it. If not, you're probably thinking, well, yeah, Rhonda, I've got a team, but I don't know who really needs to be, who would want to, or who should I approach in leadership? So look at it this way. You want to look at their motivation within the team. So who believes in Avon? Who wants to grow their business? You know, who's driven? Who is coachable? And that to me is a really important one. A lot of times people want to do something, but they don't want to listen to anybody about anything. And that's not always the easiest when you're a leader, because sometimes you do have to have that feedback. So think, are they coachable? You know, and are they positive, and do they enjoy helping others? Also, I want you to look at their sales success. Are they growing sales? Are they consistently placing orders? You know, if they don't place an order but every 3 months, might not be the best leader today. It may be great later when they're more consistent. But looking for somebody that's consistent right now is important. You know, do they pay their bill on time? Because, hey, people don't get paid in leadership unless they pay for their orders and pay them on time. If they do it, then they'll teach their teams to do it. How many customers do they have? It's really important. And lastly, do they know how to use the Avon tools that Avon has provided? We have so much stuff, but if they call you every day asking you about a product that they could look up online themselves, then they may not be the best in leadership today. It may not mean they won't be later, but I want you to start looking at your team and thinking, is there somebody on there when I'm reading these things off to you that you're thinking of? Does anybody pop in your head? And I'm just curious, does anything pop in your head when I say these things? Okay, y'all don't know. Okay, so moving on kind of forward, let's talk about planning to connect with some new people. You know who you already have. Let's look at some prospecting activities. And I hate the word prospecting, we all do, but I don't care what you call it. Get out and meet people activities, leave your house activities, whatever you want to call it. I want you to, before you leave your house, I want you to think about the success you've had before. What worked for you? How did it make you feel? Did you feel good about it? Did you feel positive? If not, then you need to refocus before you leave the door, because you've got to have in your head before you leave that you can do this. Number two, look at your top customers. And everybody's thinking, well, gosh, Rhonda, you know, they're my top customer. Why wouldn't I want to make money off of them selling? Because they're going to sell more than they ever will buying from you. And if they love the product already, then they're going to be a great salesperson for the product. Look at your personal network if you haven't already. Family, friends, and people that you know. We've been talking a little bit about lately about making new lists, prospecting lists. You know, that who do you know and where do you go? If you haven't done it lately, please take time to do it. Get involved with your community. That means your PTAs, which you probably, you know, that's kind of coming to an end. But think of all the things we do over the summer, right? You know, you're always doing festivals, and maybe the PTA is doing fundraising, or maybe their kids are in sports, or all those type of things that you do through the schools. Just because school's going to be out in a few weeks doesn't mean it's not going on in the summer. You still got football camp, you still got baseball, you still got band, soccer's still going on. You know, so think about those things as you're planning your time. Of course, community events are huge. If you can do job fairs or festivals, and we're going to talk a little bit more about festivals and job fairs and things coming up, and it's a great way to meet people who are out and enjoying the day. Job fairs means people want money. You can't offer them a job, but you can offer them an opportunity to make money while they're looking for a job. If they're out there looking, maybe they're wanting something more. And maybe they want something that's outside of what they currently do, and that's something that we have to offer. If you can't get a table inside of the job fair, then guess what you can do? You can stand outside very, very easily. So again, all the community events are great. Fundraisers is a wonderful way to meet people. We do them all the time, but let me put this the right way. Unless you have someone who doesn't want to do anything to raise money, why wouldn't you have your contacts sign up and do the fundraisers for their groups? A lot of times people get started in so many different ways. You have to start looking outside of what you're currently doing if you want to grow. Always, are you doing opportunity meetings? And if you are, I don't know about it. Opportunity meetings are a good way to talk to people who don't know if they really want to do this thing or not. And if they have a chance to hear about what you do, then they can come and be comfortable. And you can do them online very easily. If you need help with that, definitely reach out to me. So I know this is not brain surgery, not necessarily things we haven't talked about, but this is what I want to ask you. You only have so much time during the day that you can work your business. How much of your time is Avon time? And is it enough to reach your goal? If you want more money, one way or the other, how much more time are you willing to put into the business, or how much are you willing to change what you're doing to earn more? Okay? Because there's only, a couple of ways to earn more with Avon. You sell more to people, you sell more product, or you have people on your teams selling. So if you're already putting in 15 hours a week and you're maxed out everything that you can do, you either have to put in more time or change your activities. That's the bottom line. So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about planning ahead. Now, we're talking about summer. I'm gonna stop this sharing for 1 second, and I'm gonna ask everybody, have you guys actually got your calendar set yet for the next few months? Is anybody starting to use them, starting to plan?
I'm working on it, but it's not filled up for the summer yet.
Gotcha. Anybody else started yet?
I have.
Okay, good.
I've got some events planned.
Good. And I'm coming to you for a reason. I want to see your eyeball to eyeball here. This is going to make you money. Before we go any further, I want you to hear me when I say this. It doesn't matter if you don't, how many events you have planned. If you don't plan them out and put them on the calendar, you're going to be running every 2 seconds to fill your car back up, and you're going to forget this and you're going to do that, and you're not going to be ready. But if you have a strategy, you'll earn more. So I want to make sure everybody's thinking ahead. It doesn't, and I tell everybody kind of the same way, make yourself a to-go box. If you like to set up tables, have a rolling cart or a couple of boxes ready to go with everything that you need, and nothing comes out of there. You know, if you have a box you always carry with you that's to multiple things, just make sure you grab it. But you have yourself a to-go box. Have your tablecloth. Have your things that you need ready to go this summer. Just like you have brochures ready, right? Have it ready, because what happens if everything cancels that afternoon, you have a 2-hour window and you know you can stop at your local consignment store and set up a little table because she'll let you sit there. The chance
Pop a squat.
Yep, pop a squat. The chance of you doing it if you have a supply, have the supplies you need, is much higher than if you don't. So now's the time to start thinking, what do I have on hand? What do I need? And you don't need a lot of stuff. You need your body and your mouth and your brain and maybe a product sample and some books. It doesn't have to be you.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me get back to this. This is going to be fun. You'll laugh when you see this, I think. So let me start sharing again. 1 second. So again, we're talking about summertime. Do you not love this? Don't you want to be on the lake right now? I saw this and thought, I've got to go to California Gardens this weekend. That's what it kind of looks like when I go. So I want you to think about when you're doing your calendar, put your vacation on that calendar. And you're like, Miss Pat, yes, we take vacations. I know Miss Pat takes them sometimes, but I want y'all to plan yourself some time off, because while you have time when it's pretty, you should take time to enjoy it. And the way to do that is to put it on the calendar and plan for it. Okay? So put all the holidays on the calendar and make sure July 4th, Memorial Day, we're going to have some iffy times in our shipping schedule or our delivery schedule based on the holidays. Make sure when you do your 3-month calendar, you write that down and you change your days on that calendar as soon as you set it down. Don't wait till that month, because then what happens? You forget, and then you have to rush and do your orders really fast, or maybe you're really late placing your order. Maybe your customers get upset with you because you forgot to call them. Plan it today on what you're going to be doing. So, sorry, this is my calendar management spiel, and then I'll get to the fun stuff. How effective are you right now working your calendar?
I live by my calendar.
That's awesome. And it's some, and that's good, because it takes that, Miss Pat. But most of us struggle. And we struggle because we have to create a rhythm in the business and ordering, placing, taking brochures, collecting money. You have to create a rhythm. Are your customers on your schedule? Meaning, and I say this because I know a lot of you guys and how you do your business, which days do you go to the town next door? How many days after you get delivery? I can talk to you guys and you can tell me, well, I go on the Thursday after my order gets here. Like, I think Denise is on here. I know when you deliver, Denise. I know when you deliver, and it's funny because you guys do have like that schedule of what you do. So make sure when you're planning, you're using your calendar, please ignore the 2018 picture because I didn't make a new one. But put your big rocks on there, meaning things aren't going to change. If your son's birthday is June 23rd, guess what? You're not delivering that day. You're probably not going to do anything that day because you're going to take him to dinner, or maybe it's that Saturday or whatever it is. You probably can start thinking now what you're going to do. And think about the activities in your life, okay? Do you know you're going to go to, You always take the kids to the pool, the community pools on Tuesdays because it's $1 to go, or $1 movie theaters. I think that's Tuesdays. Put those things on your list, all right? Put it on your calendar to remind you for the next 3 months of what you're going to do. It's April. You can do May, June, and July, and we all know the kids start back the 1st of August anyway. And you probably think, if you're saying, I don't have kids, I can tell you it doesn't matter. The most popular vacation times are when the kids are out of school, and we want to go in the summer. You know, we want to go on spring break, or we want to go on Christmas break. So it's how we think, because remember, you went through how many years of school yourself. So when spring break rolls around, don't you automatically want to go to the beach, or you want to take time off? Because that's what we used to do. It's hard to get out of those modes. And make sure you're looking at the incentives. I know we have 3 people that I know of that are going to Mexico. That is Miss Pat, that is April, and Denise. Did anybody else earn the trip? Well, first off, congratulations, ladies. I know you guys worked for it. And I know that, you know, sometimes you're like, well, I just do what I do and I earn it. But you still have to work, because if you don't work the business, you still don't earn it. Sure. And I think it's important to remember that. So I hope we see pictures of everybody who's going. I'm sure there's another new incentive that's going to be coming up soon. You know it's time. So while we still have the PC trip and everything that we can earn for New Orleans, there's going to be new things, I'm sure, around the bend, because that's the way Avon works. So now let's look at some activities, and let's see if this shocks you. This is actually looking at tasks, because you're probably thinking, well, yeah, Rhonda, I can put the stuff, but then what? How do I still know what I'm supposed to do, and what makes me money? Because if it doesn't make me money, it's not going on my calendar, right? Unless it's like a birthday or something that I have to do. These are the activities. So personal prospecting, if you do it for an hour, you usually get 3 contacts. You make about $75 and about $200 a year off of working at the hour and getting prospects for your business for customers. An hour's worth of recruiting, if you really work it, you should be able to get a recruit. Maybe it takes 2 hours, but if you work hard to get the names and numbers, you can do it. That's a, you get your $35 or your $25 check, and it's about $2,600 in sales per year for the team, and that's an average. Okay, if you get a PC member, an honor society member, that's going to be $10,000 or $20,000. But on average, we're looking at about $2,600 in sales. Now, online promotion for recruiting and sales. If you spend 1 hour, you should be able to get 2 to 3 names. How many of you guys are actually doing online promotion now for sales and recruiting an hour a day? Or even an hour a week? And that's your only focus during the hour. Okay, so that should, if you really work it, you should be able to get 150 names a year. Does anybody had anything else they've got 150 names from in the past year that you did it 1 hour a week? It is that consistency. So when we're starting to look at this thing, it's not just about I got 2 or 3 names this week. It's what did I get throughout the whole year that's really going to matter. Think of your orders for your texting for follow-ups. All right, you get faster orders, you get on-time orders. I spelled one time, by the way, it meant on time, and it's consistency. If you do an hour of selling in person, we all like to talk. It may take you 15 or 20 minutes per customer. So you're going to get higher sales, and you know it, because when you go talk to somebody face-to-face, what do? You know how to sell. So you do add-on sales, and you get caught up and you build that relationship. So it's really important to add those things. Now, if you can't get out there and visit person to person, you can still do a call like we're doing today. You can still call and say, how's your mama doing? And have that 15 or 20-minute conversation where you catch up. It's the same thing. So I tell you that so it doesn't matter how you communicate with your customers. It's just doing that one-on-one communicating. Now let's talk about tailgating. That's kind of like pop a squat too. We'll go into the parking lot, pop down the tailgate. Usually within an hour, you can get 3 customers and a potential recruit. Now, if you're going where there's no customers and there's no recruit, nobody's going to be there. So you actually have to think about it and measure your success. Try it in a few different places and find the place that's got the most activity. Usually you can do about $50 in sales. If you have leftover product, what do you do when you're going to pop a squat for the day? You bring your product, right? It's easy to have it in the trunk, pull the trunk up, put a little sign that this is Avon products, and wave at everybody. Have a little sign, this is Avon here. I know it's really great to get the dry erase boards because you can change what that message is every day. It didn't cost you but one time to buy the dry erase board. And they have paddles at the Dollar Tree. Have you seen the erasable paddles? They're like little dry erase boards, and you can hold up a little paddle that says, stop here, and be silly. You can do those things and make money. So think about that. $50 of sales, you can usually hand out 5 to 10 books an hour, and usually you can get a recruit. I'm not talking about a table event where you're with 1 million people. I'm talking about you are the front of Pizza Hut. I don't know if there's even are Pizza Huts anymore, but you know what I mean. Wherever that there's real people that you can talk to. Go to the dry cleaner on a Friday afternoon where everybody's dropping off their clothes for the week. There's
I'll
all
interrupt you just a minute, Rhonda, because I'll lose my train of thought.
Okay.
You don't believe table events work. Let me tell you, I could stand in my LABC, my licensed Avon Beauty Center, with a big Avon sign outside all day, serving lots of customers, mentioning the opportunity to everybody that came through the door. And I would get more recruits when I put a table on the sidewalk in front of my store than I ever got inside the store that day, would have gotten inside the store that day, because people will stop at that table that are not coming in the store. And I've had a lot of experience with that. And I didn't move anywhere. I just was outside my store. Beth has done that. Mm-hmm. We know that that's a great way to recruit. If you move that table around and don't leave it, you don't have an Avon store. That's not a problem. But my point is, it works wherever you are. Right. If you do it and you do it right, a lot has to do with the way you talk to folks. They'll stop. That's for sure.
And the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to be doing it. Look, Miss Pat's right. It is about what you say to people. But the fact that you're getting out there, you're going to learn what to say. We will help you. If you're not comfortable, you can have me on the phone for an hour. I'll stay on the phone with you. I'll tell you what to say to every person. Put me on a video, and I'll talk to them on your phone. I don't care. But it's about getting out there and trying it. And Miss Pat, it's so, like, you have a great shopping center. But guys, there's Sprint stores. There is Cato stores. You don't have to go inside. They'll let you set up outside. Any of the tax places will usually let you set up outside their front door. So
I used to go over to the home store on the other side of the road from my store. I would get more recruits over there than in the Avon store. I'm not lying to you folks.
Yeah.
I could go over there and set up a table with their permission and get more recruits than in the Avon store, because I was meeting people that weren't my regular customers coming repeatedly in the store.
Correct. And that's important. So don't forget also that while you're doing tailgating, you can also do that at the playgrounds and stuff. If you've got your kids, because they're off for the summer, or your grandkids, take them to the playground. Bring 5 or 6 books and put them on the picnic table and talk to everybody you see. So you don't have to limit yourself into where you take your Avon. And I think it's important to remember, we get stuck sometimes thinking, I don't have a table event, I'm not going to leave the house, I'm going to do this because I can do this next week. Just get out the door and talk to people. Setting up a table event, again, 2 to 4 hours. If you do a table event, will get you 10 to 25 names. That is very reasonable. It really is. If you do one a week and you get 15 names, that is 780 customers or recruits. Because out of that 780, how many can you convert to sell? Anybody got 780 names last year? From one a week. Okay, one a week. And I know some of you guys did big events, and that's great. But sometimes we get lost in the big events because they see 4,000 direct sales companies. If it's you outside on a table, there's nobody else there but you. So they stop and they talk and they chit chat. And that's where you guys are your best, because you know how to talk to people.
Got to do your follow-up too, though. That's one of the most important things. Doesn't do any good to get 25 names if you don't follow up with them.
Anybody else guilty of getting names and then not following up for 2 or 3 weeks?
No, my upline would kill me.
You know what? She would. I just say that because I know how common it is. We get excited, particularly if we're doing 2 and 3 day events. We're exhausted. And by the time we get back to it, it's been how many days? So remember, during your downtime, you have a text thing set up in your phone, so you can send them an automatic text, at least as a basic follow-up, and then be able to follow up with them on the phone too. Sorry, I'm sure y'all know that, and I'm sure I'm repeating it. But it's good to remind ourselves because, if you haven't done it lately, it's time to start doing it. Now, job fairs. Some people have great results with job fairs. I know I have in the past, but they tend to work. I mean, you can usually get 5 or 10 recruits from a job fair, but you've got to get in. So
Can I say something about job fairs? Because I used to work job fairs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I would pay $500 to work 4 or 5 hours at a 4 or 5 hour job fair, and I did great with them for many years. But I did them for a year or longer after they quit working as well. So I just feel a moral responsibility to say, don't pay $500 to work a job fair. You don't have to, because you're probably not going to get a return on your money, because I tried it a long time after they quit working. I don't know what changed, but it happened for me, and I'd had great success with them. I didn't blink to pay for a job fair every time I saw one. And Beth knows that. I've taken her with job fairs with me before, and others. But I quit for a reason. I'm not stupid, okay? But there are free job fairs out there all the time. You might not get 5 or 10 recruits, but you'll get 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. And they'll be, for the most part, good recruits. And so I suggest that you look for free job fairs, because they're out there. They're not as plentiful, but they're out there. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I didn't know there was a phone even up here. When did you get back up?
I think the whole point of free job fairs is what I was meaning, Pat. I'm going to tell you, I have personally never paid for a job fair, not even when I worked corporate. A lot of times I would go to the Department of Labor, and they would tell me who was having job fairs and the contact, and I would call them.
Well, I used to do free job fairs with the Department of Labor, and they were my best job fair, but they stopped letting us do them because we're direct sales and not a real business in their eyes.
Right. Well, and what tends to happen, you're right, Pat, but what they have done after they stopped that for us is they would kind of give us a list. And who organizers workers are usually third. So
I used to stand outside DOL when they were having a job fair after they stopped from being in them, and I would recruit right out there in front of the Department of Labor. It was right up the street here.
That's a good idea. And don't be afraid to do that. You can have things with you that you don't look crazy either, So
and I wouldn't hesitate today to go to a job fair that they were charging $500 for the day. Their day is only usually 4 to 5 hours, from 10 to 2 or 10 to 3 or something like that. But I wouldn't hesitate today to go outside a job fair and talk to folks going in. But I wouldn't pay that kind of money anymore, not after my experience, and I didn't give up easily.
That's true. And I will say this. Don't forget that you can attend the job fair and look for prospects while you're there. If you do not get a table, you can still go. I think it's important to remember that.
Yes, just tell them not to go stand in front of the Avon table, though.
No, we don't ever do that.
I used to have that problem.
Oh my gosh, no. My thing is, you go look for people that you want, but don't go after somebody who's talking to somebody else. You wait while they're waiting in line and they're chit-chatting, and every person there that's going to a job fair is actually a little bit of afraid usually, because they don't want to hear no either. So the fact that you're talking to them saying you would be perfect for this means that they'll be interested. So have those conversations, and this is where we really talk about our conversational selling. Conversational talking, not necessarily, hi, my name is Rhonda, I'm with Avon. I'd like for you to be a representative. No, we don't do that. We go, hey, what are you here for? And, oh, I'm looking too. And well, actually, and just talk about their life. The more that you can let them talk, the better off you'll be in those situations. Okay. Now, building your leaders and your teams. this is something to put your effort into. It's the reason we talked about it in the beginning. The higher your team sales are, the more leaders that you're going to have. The more effort that you put into looking in your first generation or helping your first generation look in their first gen, okay? Move from within your team when you can. And if you haven't looked at that lately, now's the time to look. Because we have a lot of teachers, you know, and I'll say this. Our teachers tend to be great representatives. So does our dietary staff, our bus drivers, a lot of people associated that's kind of on a school system. They're in service already. So what we do works with them. If you can put out a teacher, a teacher thing, I can't even talk about it. What is it called? Something for your teachers to say, hey, do this summer to help pay for your classroom budget next year. Teachers that want to help will do that, particularly if they're current customers with you right now. Now, sometimes they don't want to. Sometimes they really want to take the summer off because they are sick of everybody. And that's okay. Look for the ones who do want to do more. And last, the power of 5. And I know you guys do 5 now. They really want you to get 5 names and numbers a day. But I wanted to tell you, when you're in leadership, you're going to get your 5 for customers. But I want you to look for a superstar every day. And I'm not saying that she's perfect, that she talks the right language, or she says, I'm going to go out and sell $5,000 next month. No, if you see potential, they're your potential superstar. So I want you to think, if you got your 5 a day, 5 days a week, and I'm only counting 48 weeks out of the year. I'm not going to tell you to do it 52 weeks out of the year, because I know you might take the week of Christmas off. Does that sound good? Or you might take the week, a week of vacation in the summer. But you're talking 1,200 potential customers and 225 potential recruits, just by kind of being consistent with what you do. And that doesn't even include all of these other items on the list of activities. So when you're thinking of making your schedule, which of these activities are you going to add? Which one are you going to use? I'm never going to say you only have to do one thing or 2 things or every single thing. Some people are never going to feel comfortable prospecting online. Some people are really uncomfortable prospecting in person. But you've got to see what you can do to find your balance to help you get to the next level. I actually listed some of the table events for you. These are just some examples of tables. I love the little Papa Squat. You see this right here? Everything that this lady had on the bottom right side was in that white box. You can tell. I bet she had every single thing. All she has is some Skin So Soft, it looks like, and brochures, and whatever was in her little white box. Now, have those kits ready and things to go. It doesn't have to be gigantic. Just have a box ready to go for yourself. And you can still do breast cancer fundraiser tables year-round. You don't have to wait till October. You can do it now. Parking lot setups. That's that Papa Squat thing. It works. It works. It works. It works. Get a friend to go with you, and you guys sit out and laugh at every person that comes up in the TJ Maxx shopping center. You will have a blast, and then people are attracted to you saying, what are you doing? Because remember, the more fun that you have, the more people want to be with you. If you sit there and don't smile and give everybody dirty looks because we're hot, it doesn't work. So whatever you got to do to make it work for you. Bring your girlfriend, bring your child, bring your husband if he's a crazy person like mine would be. I'm just saying, have some fun with it. Remember, we have art in the parks. There's children consignment sales. A lot of times, particularly towards the late summer, it's time for another consignment sale, and they will usually let you set up outside the consignment sale. Baseball games are huge, and soccer. If you're going, take brochures. If you're going, talking to other parents, somebody there needs to make some money because they're all gossiping about it anyway. I mean, let's just get real. Put us all together, and we talk a lot, right? So there's things that's going on around you. Make sure that you're aware of it. If you're going camping, take a brochure or a business card and a sample around to each of the camp spots. Because why not? There's so many people now that really enjoy their travel and they camp year-round and move around the country. It's just not as uncommon as it used to be. talk to them. Their business can be done anywhere. Our business can be done at any camp's place as long as there's Wi-Fi or their phone picks up. So don't be afraid to offer that. I know some of the top people in Avon did that. I think was it Sue Mazza that did that. I'm pretty sure Sue did it years ago when she went around in her RV at every place and she recruited wherever they went because they did a year seeing the U.S. with her husband.
If you don't have an RV, find the closest RV camp or whatever they call them, because there was one right up the road from me for years. Now they've done some road work up there, and I think that it's not there anymore. But
And
I
we're not always RVers.
and just meet people.
It's true.
Because those people were traveling, but
That's right.
they had my book when they left here and my information, and in case they came back, because we didn't have the online stuff when I started doing that. These days, they all have your online store, and they can sign up online.
It's true. It's a good way for them to earn too while they're mobile. And you don't have to have an RV. I glamp, which my child tells me is not a real word, but I did show it in the dictionary this year. But you know, we throw a tent and we just go have a good time. So you're probably already doing things with your families this summer anyway. Figure out how to incorporate it without letting it take over. And if it's going to take over, let it take over for an hour and then go spend time with your family. Because I am a big believer in not letting every single thing take over your life that you don't get to enjoy them. Now, somebody else may have a different opinion on that, but I'm telling you, enjoy it. Remember your spring flings and your summer festivals. Of course, again, we talked a little bit about tailgating and yard sales. I know a lot of people would spend early Saturday morning delivering books to all the little yard sales and say, if you give these out for me, I'll come back and bring you a gift. And then they'd show up at noon and bring them a gift, and they'd have all these names and numbers for them. I know they did really well with it. And a lot of times people who are doing yard sales may need cash and they may want to sell. So it's another good thing to get a girlfriend and go on Saturday morning. If you're an early bird, why not do it? Why not have some fun with it? So let me see. I think we have one more slide. And I know that I hate doing slides too all the time, y'all, but I think it's fun to talk about. So what do you want to do with your business this summer? And that's kind of the question I want you to think when you leave today. What do you want to do with it? You've got some time. What are you going to do? And you remember, plans are nothing. I got plans to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. But planning is everything. Writing it down on a piece of paper, putting it in your calendar, figuring out how much time is it going to take, how much money, how much effort, and what are you going to get back from it. And don't forget that every time you're doing something, write down what you got from it. Because if you find yourself going to the same places over and over again and you're not getting anything from it, then maybe you need to change places. Okay? Maybe you need, because that does happen. Just like Miss Pat said, she was paying to go do the job fairs. Well, it stopped working for her. So she had to change it up. It doesn't matter if it worked last year or 5 years ago or 10 years ago or last week sometimes. You do have to change it if you want different results, if you don't like what you're getting. So does anybody have any questions or comments?
Anybody want to share their ideas?
Sure. I like to do my clipboard, and I usually take several samples because there are those that don't like fragrance and blah blah blah. So I usually take 2-3 kinds of samples in my clipboard because one thing I can count on: job fairs may stop working, other things may stop working, but people always want to give you their opinion. Always. I don't know of a woman anywhere that don't want to give you their opinion. So what I do is I take my clipboard and I go around and I find out what they would like a sample of. Sample is free. All you got to do is let me call you back so I can find out your opinion of this fragrance, this facial product, whatever it is I'm giving them. To date, I think I've only had 2 people refuse to give me their information, and they they were silly people. Because
What
who doesn't want free?
What a wonderful, non-threatening way to get somebody's information and to follow up.
And I also do, whenever I'm doing that, well, actually, I'm still doing a drawing once a month, but I'm doing it right now for online customers. But I would do a drawing once a month for those customers. So they not only by letting me call them back, did they get to give their opinion, but they also got the chance to win my bundle for the month. But I had a great, I mean, I still do that when I can. I can only get in about three conversations before I have to go sit down now, but it still works great. It's still, I even managed to do it once in the Walmart parking lot, and I don't know how many of you know, Walmart has gotten kind of difficult to do anything in. But they're so happy because they're getting something free and they're getting their opinion out there. Usually goes pretty fast. So you can do it inside or outside. And one of my new people was upset because she went into a building and into an office and they told her there's no soliciting in here. And I said, if you go in there again, just don't say anything at all. Just hand the lady your business card, wave at her and said, hope to hear from you soon. And that's it. Because how many times have I gone in someplace that said no soliciting? And the lady one time walked me to the door and said, can I have a book? Because she didn't want her boss to hear. So they still want Avon.
Used to happen to me all the time at the mall. I've been running the best malls in Georgia.
Yeah, I just got to where I just did business cards in malls because they see that book and they want to come visit you.
I hid mine in a big pocketbook and I'd pull it out after I got to talking to them, but I've still been run out. But you're right, Beth. It's, it all depends on how much people are willing to put up with. It was worth it for me.
And you'll run into a few crazy people because I did find the one person. I was actually working at the mall at your kiosk. And I asked a lady one day that was coming by if she wanted a book. And she's the one that threw up her hands in the air and started screaming, no! And went running over to the security desk, which was right across from her. And I just sat there looking at her going, what the heck was that? What just happened? But it makes life interesting.
And we were paying rent to be there at that time.
Yeah, I have no idea what that lady's problem was. No idea whatsoever. But I always tell everybody that if I could live through that, they can too. So it's okay. But anyway, that was my idea. It works really well.
Those are good ideas, Beth.
But yeah, it really is.
It really, really is. That's the challenge. I mean, everybody is going to have different challenges no matter what they are in your life. Whether the kids are here, the grandkids are here, you've got to do this 8 to 5, you are out in the middle of nowhere, or you have a busy schedule. All that's wonderful, and everybody's situation is different. But I'm guessing if you're on this call, you still want to grow your business. Because if you got on this call, there was something that attracted you to get on the call. So I think it's important. Yes, April?
I have to add, my town blows for prospecting businesses, prospecting people, all that stuff. So I get it. But you know what I do is I go to the next town over.
Great idea.
I hear that all the time and I get it, trust me. And I had somebody who came out here with me because she had to see her for herself. And she backed me up that, we had a really terrible couple of days trying to work right around where I live, and it's just miserable. Now, that doesn't mean I don't still try occasionally, because you might find that one person. And I still like to there's a huge festival in my city every year. And I like to do that one because it's fairly inexpensive for the amount of people that come through. And I've had some good luck recruiting there, and I always sell product. But people come from surrounding areas too, because it is such a big event. So, but the people who actually run it also are really lovely, and they're very accepting of us. But you know, if where you're at sucks, then just go 10 miles down the road. Because like I say, I live here and it's terrible, but I live in the middle of a bunch of cities where it's not bad. And it's really not that far out of the way. And even if I have some out of the way places, that's a good opportunity to recruit. Like I found a spot I can go, and it's somewhere that I normally would never deliver product to, because I have to really get on the highway to get there, and I don't get on the highway except to go see Pat. So, but I went down the highway this day, and I have a place I can set up, and I'm not going there with any product, and I'm not going there to find customers, because I don't want to drive down there. And they can order off my website all they want to, but I want some bodies selling product in that area. So, and that's when I go do those things, which Rhonda was talking about, intent. I don't go looking for customers. I go looking for recruits. And if I accidentally get customers, then okay, cool, whatever. But my intention for all of my tables are to recruit people. I'm not there to sell product. Even if I have some product, that's not what I'm there to do. So I just wanted to let you guys know, because I know I've heard from people say like, oh, where I live, there's no people, or, you know, they don't let us set up here, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, go find somewhere else. Just go find somewhere else.
That's a great idea, April. That reminds me, I used to go to Columbus, Georgia once a week. And that's like 100 and some odd miles down the road, down 85, and then you turn off anyway. I'm originally from Columbus. And I used to go down there once a week to work my Avon business. Truthfully, at the time, I ran an ad down there. And I would set up appointments, and whether I had appointments or not, I would go and prospect. And but Columbus and Phoenix City, Alabama are only separated by the river. And there's a bridge. It's almost like one town. Just cross over and you're in Phoenix City, Alabama. Just out from Phoenix City, Alabama is Smith Station, Alabama, which is Nothingsville. But I went to Smith Station and I'd go to Phoenix City sometimes. One day I decided to go to Smith Station, and I was amazed at the people that there were interested in Avon and didn't have anybody that sold Avon around there. So I determined to find me a representative for Smith Station. And I did have one for a while, but that's the place most people, even I thought, I don't know why I'm doing this. It's probably a waste of time, but I just wanted to see what was out there, because I used to go out there when I used to work with my dad when I was a young teenager, doing door-to-door sales of another kind. I would go with him. And I remembered he worked Smith Station as well as Phoenix City and Columbus and some other places. Sounds crazy, but anyway, there are a lot of potential for customers out there. The more customers you have, the more likely you are to find a recruit in that area. Even somebody who is a customer to begin with might become a recruit. But we didn't have an online store or anything back then. But you're absolutely correct. If it's not where you are, move on over. You're going to find it if you keep looking. Thank you, April.
And if any of you guys are thinking, I don't know what to say, I don't know exactly what to do, reach out to somebody and ask. You're really not going to talk to those customers different than you do your current customers today, except sometimes you have a little different talk track. You know, it's talking to somebody that you don't know and saying, how are you? And I'm so glad you stopped today. What made you want to stop and see me? When's the last time you saw an Avon brochure? You know, it's those simple little things that you do everywhere you go already that can really make a difference in your business. And if you plan this, I want you to plan your vacation. I want you to plan when things are coming so that you're ready. So anybody ever got stuck with barely getting a $200 order because you forgot something was coming up and you were gone or something happened? I mean, we all do it. We all forget that July 4th are going to be closed X days or whatever. and then your order isn't big enough and you're worried about making your minimums that you have to hit. Don't do that. And don't let your team do that. Because guess what? If you plan, what do you think you're going to tell your team? Hey, don't forget this is coming up, right? Because you know what's coming. So we have enough challenges in our lives with Avon loving to change things that they do, right? Don't let a date that's static that you know is coming catch up on you, because it will. Because Memorial Day will be here before you know it.
I'd like to ask if anybody on this call has learned anything or heard anything that makes them want to try that. Seriously. I think it's been great information, Rhonda. Great.
I need to do opportunity meetings. That's something I haven't done, and I've talked about it, but I haven't pulled the trigger. So I have my little notes right here. That's what I've been, and it's at the top because I haven't done it.
I want to say something about opportunity meetings. You can have them in your home. I used to have them at my store. I used to have them in a part of the complex there when there was nothing in there. The landlord just let me use it. But I will tell you, an opportunity meeting will work much better if you have your team members involved. Don't try to do one just for you, because you want them to invite people. And the more people you get there that have a relationship or a rapport with the person that invited them, the more likely it is that the opportunity meeting might be a success.
True.
They don't work as well. You know, I used to walk the streets and put out invitations on mailboxes and stuff. I was trying to reach the world. Well, that doesn't work as well as having your team members invite people and doing it with your team or with your other leaders, or even with somebody who might be considering starting leadership. Mm-hmm. So I think that's just my opinion, and you can do it online or you can do it live.
True.
No, my intent was to involve everybody, but I just haven't done it. So,
well, and that happens.
Try online, April. They work much better for me online, because you plan for them, doing them out, and you go set up, and maybe you get snacks or whatever, and then nobody shows up. So online is awesome. Nobody shows up. I just go do something else.
And like everything else too, though, they take practice. You have to be willing to, trial and error like with everything else. But it can be worth it.
And the practice is not, you guys, on what to say once you get in the meeting. The practice is getting people to them.
Right, exactly.
That's the challenge. It's not, there's nobody on this call who I don't think confidently, I know that you could talk to somebody about selling. It's not, you can do it. But it's getting people to talk to you. And that is the biggest challenge in this business, no matter if you're selling or recruiting, isn't it?
And listening to people. If you have a conversation with someone and they aren't ready, but you have a rapport with them and some time has gone by, give them the opportunity to come or to invite them to your online, But if you have people like that on there, it's more likely for you to have some success with them. I've never done an online because, I'm old and old school, and I have a lot to learn to do those things online. But I used to do a bunch of them, live. And but the online is probably really, as Beth said, the way to go nowadays.
It is. So again, I know this was a lot of review for y'all. I know that it was, but we do forget the basics sometimes, don't we? Like, if you're thinking to myself, I'm happy. Is anybody thrilled and happy with how much money they have coming in today? All right. So if we don't go back, we know certain things work, but we get out of the loop because we get stuck in our kind of a rut. And if you want to get out of the rut and make more money, then you have to change it up. You either got to change how much time you spend or the activities that you do. And there's really no other way about it, unless you're going to spend $1 million to pay people to show up at your front door.
Absolutely. And I just want to say one other thing. I don't know how many people are buying leads or getting free leads share. But I'm going to tell you, I don't know about you guys, but they're just about to dry up for me. And it's not because I have a bad conversion rate. I don't. I am doing good to get one a day, and some days I don't get any. And so if they automatically sign up, I don't have one to delegate. And if I only get one, then, it's like eeny, meeny, miny, moe. So it's really difficult right now, and I don't know if it's going to get better or not, but I feel like that all of us, me included, we have to, and I've been saying for a long time that I was afraid this would happen, and I hope it changes. But right now, I don't know about you guys, the pickings are slim when it comes to the leads. It really is.
Is anybody doing the online, looking for leads online every day?
I'm doing a lot more online, but I'm not hitting them out of the park either. So
I just want to know, because I think I need to learn a little bit.
I know
that I should do more than I do now. Because
what I'm finding is a lot of the people I run across are also in direct sales. So when I make new friends, they're already in something, and I feel, everybody's different, and I'm not
what
saying
is that
I'm right,
paparazzi thing?
but I feel kind of like some kind of way about I love you. Sorry guys. I don't talk to people who seem happy in their businesses. Now, if I see somebody or have a conversation and they're struggling or something, then that's a different conversation. But if they're posting that they love it and they're happy and they're having a good time, I just give them a thumbs up, So right now, I think, I don't know if Facebook and Instagram is just being jerk faces, because that's all the people that I keep running across. So I've got to figure some more stuff out on how to find people that really need this opportunity, not somebody who's already got a business or 5.
I agree, April. And I'm not polished and experienced at this online stuff. And I know that most of my friends, other than some family, extended family, and most of my friends are Avon reps. So, my online Facebook friends. And everything I see on Instagram is a Avon representative. So I think some of the best advice we've ever gotten was from Rhonda when she told us to join other groups, to take our interest and find groups, other kind of groups to join. And then I'm gonna make this real quick, but I also think it's not working great for me yet, even though I've got an online fundraiser going, but they haven't promoted it, and that's their fault, not mine. I promoted it for them some, but again, I only have so many places I could promote it but I need to expand my horizons and join other groups and look for groups that are not Avon reps. And I think that might be key to getting other people interested. And then, you can post in those groups about the interest you have in common in that, as Rhonda pointed out, but, you can mention your Avon once in a while, but at least they will know. And I think that's the problem online. It's kind of like just talking to your same people over and over in your Avon business, or not getting out and finding new people. It's kind of like that online. I think for me and many people, we've got to do more.
Well, like just today, I got 5 new friend requests, and they all sell Unique, and that's cool. But 3 of them immediately tried to add me to their VIP group, and 2 of them messaged me about their business. And I was like, honey, did you even look at my profile? Really?
You probably became friends
that
with
happens
somebody.
to me a lot, and I immediately unfriend them if I didn't know them to begin with.
Yeah, they are not my friend anymore. Now the other ones that didn't immediately try shenanigans, I let them sit there because I have somebody on my team who jumped ship from Unique to my team. So they could be checking me out. I don't know.
You have to use your judgment, but when they're immediately all
But I
over,
don't like it when they spam me.
Yeah, I don't like it at all, and I think it's very unprofessional. If I
Give
was
me a
gonna
little
tell anybody, I
foreplay.
would want them to be more professional than that.
Don't forget about LinkedIn too, guys. I know that's crazy, but LinkedIn is really for professionals looking for opportunities. Um,
I have heard that, but I haven't jumped on there. I
If you
have an
haven't
old
looked-
one
I
from
mean, I have one that I keep
my
up with.
old, corporate
I'm
America
on
days.
there, and I get all kind of friend requests from there or whatever to accept, and I totally ignore them because I don't even know how to log into there. It's been so many years. I don't do anything on there, and every once in a while I'll think, God, I've got to start using LinkedIn, but I don't even know how to get in there to what I set up that time. So I get requests. I got one from Janet, the lead coach up north of us. And different people that I know and I like, and then I get them from people I don't know, but I don't accept because I couldn't get in there to post. I got to figure out what I've done, or at least shut that one down and start over or something. I never seem to get around it, but that's something I probably am going to do.
The funny thing is there's a lot less, and I have a lot of A-line people on my LinkedIn, but I have a lot of other people, and I've worked it to expand that a lot more than I have Facebook. Facebook has really been about me. I mean, everything's really my personal stuff. But LinkedIn is much more professional, and you don't see a lot of specials of the day and that kind of thing, unless those are the people that you accept. You kind of have control over it.
A lot of requests that I get from there to connect are professional people, not with Avon.
And I'm going to tell you, professionals don't have time to go buy makeup either. They don't have time to go get skincare, and they still need help.
I have got to get that straightened out, Rhonda.
I tell people that because I worked in a corporate environment forever, not with Avon, but regular corporate environment. Never saw a book, ever. Nobody ever brought us one. Nobody ever tried to recruit me. I didn't know anything about the opportunity until I saw an ad in the paper. And it's one of those things to where we think that they're just because they're making a lot more money that they're going to buy a more expensive product. At least that's the perception for a lot of people. But a lot of the people maybe are, they work in accounting, but maybe they want to stay home with their kid, or maybe they want to have an at-home job and they want to start their own business, but they need something to do two things. And business people get the fact that you need two incomes or that you need a backup plan. A lot of times they understand that more than the people who work at McDonald's or somewhere else.
And many people who have money have it because they manage their money and they don't want to pay a penny more than something comparable they can get for a better price. So you just never know.
Yeah, it reminds me of your story, April, about the East Cobb and West Cobb.
Yeah, okay, because I was just talking to you guys about this. Where I live sucks, and I live right outside of this area called Town Lake, and it's these newer, really big, bulky, like mansion homes, okay? And the people who come in here like to pretend like they have a lot of money. They buy these big fancy cars and stuff, and like I have friends that work as accountants inside of Town Lake, and she's like, yeah, they all are like up to their eyeballs in debt. They don't really have that money. But they act, snooty about it, and I can't buy Avon because it's an expensive junk, but if you go to East Cobb, which is, 15 minutes away, there's some real wealth there. And there's some big homes there too, but they're not bougie and stuck up. Like, they don't like to blow their money. They want good products that they don't have to pay a fortune for. And they appreciate good service too. So, if you can show them like this is a good product, like I don't service that many customers, and I'm Honor Society. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm not placing $10 orders for people. Like, last campaign, I had 4 of my orders were over $100. And guess where they were? So, if you know who to talk to and how to talk to them, and you treat them with respect, but show them what you're talking about, they'll spend their money with you.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times, though, I don't know about if you guys have ran into this, but I've done it a couple of times. The women's organizations, the women's groups that do all kinds of things for the communities, a lot of times the organizers of that will sell Avon because they will use it to give away. They'll use it for the church. They'll use it for the community. And they'd rather just get the discount themselves and take care of themselves than having you do it. But you never know when those people are going to turn into a top recruiter. Life changes. And make sure you're also checking your sales. I know that it's so funny. I talk about this with Miss Pat all the time. Y'all don't have like a good report that shows you what everybody does campaign to campaign. But make sure you're pulling your list of your people, particularly the people who's been here a little while, or that you see changes in anybody's sales, either up or down. Okay, if you check your PC every campaign. If there's a low sales, you need to see if they're okay, because sometimes things happen. But if they're high sales and they're unusual, make sure you call them, because sometimes there's a divorce.
Yeah, I have Marie calling people who don't necessarily make the recognition list to give them kudos for what they're doing when they're doing good. Maybe they just miss it by a few dollars, or they have a decent order most of the time. They just don't quite make the recognition. I think they need that encouragement, and I want them to know that we're noticing them. So we've started doing a lot more of that. It's not just about sales, but about other things. You get one recruit, boy, I make a big deal about it because the possibilities are there, and we all started with one recruit.
And I'll make note, and you guys can laugh at me. I'll have a $26 commission check this week. And you think it's funny, but I'm thinking, man, she's blowing out the water. I got to catch up.
I don't think it's funny. My first commission check was, they didn't even write it because they didn't send you it back then. Things were so different, but they didn't even send you a check for less than $10. So it took me 2 campaigns to get a $10 check, and buddy, it wasn't much over $10. But I'm at a meeting and my district manager's giving me all kind of recognition and praise for that less than $10 check I didn't get. I'll never forget that. But I'll tell you right now, I hadn't had a $10 check in a long time, baby. I got a good check.
It's funny for me. For me, it's weird. And it's also just so important, if you've got somebody that has signed their first person, even if it was by accident, make sure you're helping them walk their person through their $150 order so they get their check.
Absolutely. And offer, this is what I do. You can do what you want to. Offer to be available to do a 3-way call with them to train that person. Even though we have the new rep class on Monday night, and I encourage people to attend it, there is nothing like that personalized thing. It's your recruit. It's your first recruit. Establish that rapport and everything. But if there are things that you're unsure of, and there has to be when it's your first recruit and you're just starting, and you're not even sure yet if you even want to do leadership, but you just had one fall in your lap, call your mentor. We're using Avon Advisor now, not mentor. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Have they put that out yet?
Yes, that's what I had a personal recruit on Saturday who used to be on my team. She called me and she was having trouble getting in the system and having it work. I said, well, let me try it. Well, lo and behold, it worked. So she fed me her information and I signed her up, and I was really glad to get to do that because I got to see what's there. And they're not using the word mentor there. Your Avon Advisor is Pat Husner. It didn't say mentor like it used to. Putting them in places. But so, and that's what they're going to be using going forward, as I understand it. So but I don't mind at all them doing a 3-way call. Then the person who's got their first recruit learns with their recruit, or at least gets to see how I do it. They can, do it to their personality. But I think that's so valuable to do that, especially with somebody with their first recruit. I share my welcome email and anything I have with them so that they can do that. And when they have one and they don't have somebody to do that, I'll lose interest a lot sooner.
And again, I'm not really worried about the people on this call. I know you guys are doing what you're supposed to. But it's that thing of maybe reminding your new people to remind their new people, because you guys have teams.
And I don't even know who's on the call.
I can kind of see, I'm just kind of looking to see, I'll know. But anyway, I appreciate you guys, and I hope anything that I can do, if you need help making a new plan, you know, I'm always available. I'm not going to say I'm perfect, but I can tell you, I can help you remove things from your calendar that do not make you money. That I will tell you. And that's the important thing, because your time is very valuable.
That's just something you need to know from the beginning. Spend your time as much as possible on money-making activities. If it's not making you money and you start size, get somebody else to do it.
Anybody got any comments or questions? Please note that we are going to be doing I'm going to do a skin care workshop next Tuesday for her whole team. That was the #1 time, was Tuesdays at 8 o'clock that everybody asked for. And 50% of the people asked for skincare training. So that's what we're going to be doing. Make sure to encourage everybody, particularly those, because your representatives who call you and say, I have a customer who has fine lines. What does she need to use? You know the ones who call you consistently to ask questions because they won't take time to learn it. Make them get on the call.
And I just want to say thank you to, excuse me, to everybody who took the time to do that survey, because that's a tremendous help. And that's what we're going to try to go by, to try to give the most people what they need as best we can.
Yeah. And we will record it. That's one thing I'll tell you. We'll have it recorded. So hopefully the ones who miss it will be able to do it on the replay. Okay.
Thank you so much, Rhonda.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, I guess everybody have a good night. It's time to go to the ladies' room. You have a 15-minute recess before the new rep training if you're going to be on there.
Bye, all.
Good night, y'all.
Have a wonderful night.
Bye.
Thank you.